The 1999 Connecticut State Quarter is one of the most iconic coins in the United States Mint program, which began in 1999 and ran through 2008 to commemorate each U.S. state with a unique reverse design. Though every quarter in the series carries the standard obverse portrait of George Washington by John Flanagan, inscribed with United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust, and the denomination quarter dollar, the Connecticut edition stands out for its breathtaking reverse artwork celebrating one of the state's most powerful symbols of independence, the Charter Oak. Beneath the bold lettering Connecticut 1788, the year the state officially entered the Union, and above 1999, marking its release year, sits a sprawling, intricately detailed depiction of a massive, gnarled tree, the legendary Charter Oak. Rooted deeply in both ground and history, this tree is connected to a defining moment in colonial defiance. According to tradition, in 1687, when agents of King James II attempted to seize Connecticut's royal charter to revoke local autonomy, colonists secretly hid the document inside the hollow of this enormous oak tree to protect their rights. This act transformed the tree into a literal vault of freedom and a lasting emblem of American resistance to unjust authority. The Connecticut Quarters design, scored with thousands of sharply etched branches sprawling wide like veins of liberty, was crafted by artist T. James Farrell and chosen for its poetic ability to represent both endurance and quiet strength. Below the tree runs the inscription the Charter Oak, alongside the Latin phrase E pluribus unum, out of many one, connecting state pride to national unity. The quarter was struck at both the Philadelphia, No Mint mark, and Denver, D. Mints, with an additional proof version from San Francisco, S., produced in both standard clad and special 90% silver. Most circulated examples remain valued at face value, 25 cents, but high-grade uncirculated or proof specimens, particularly those graded MS, 67 or higher, can fetch $10 to $50 or more, while perfect condition silver proofs may sell for $15 to $30 depending on market trends. The coin's composition is standard for modern circulation quarters, a copper core clad in cupronickel, weighing 5.67 grams and measuring 24.26 millimeters in diameter. Beyond its monetary worth, collectors cherish the Connecticut Quarter for its dramatic visual depth and historical resonance. The Charter Oak itself, though toppled by a storm in 1856, lives on through artifacts carved from its remains, used to create chairs that now sit in the Hartford state capitol, and through its continued presence in state symbols, art, and of course, this enduring coin. As one of the first 5 coins released in the State Quarters program, alongside Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Georgia, the Connecticut issue helped ignite a national collecting craze, introducing millions of Americans to numismatics. It is more than currency. It is a tiny monument, a reminder that even a tree can become a fortress of freedom when people decide that their rights are worth protecting. Next top. The United States Bicentennial Quarter Dollar, officially minted with the dual date 1776 to 1976, was issued to commemorate the 200th anniversary of American independence. Though many people casually refer to it as a 1776 quarter, it was actually struck in 1975 and 1976, and importantly, no quarters with the date 1975 exist. Every quarter minted in those 2 years features the dual date 1776 to 1976 as part of this historic celebration. Like all standard Washington quarters since 1932, the obverse front bears the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed originally by John Flanagan, along with the words Liberty boldly above his head and the national motto, In God We Trust, to the left of his profile. However, what makes this coin instantly recognizable and historically significant is its special reverse back design, which departs from the traditional bald eagle. To honor the spirit of the American Revolution, the U.S. Mint held a national design competition in 1973, and the winning entry was sculpted by Jack L. AHR, featuring a colonial drummer facing left, wearing 18th-century attire, representing the patriotic fervor and volunteerism of early American militiamen. To the right of the drummer is a torch encircled by 13 stars, symbolizing the original 13 colonies. This powerful imagery reflects a sense of unity, resilience, and pride that define the bicentennial celebrations nationwide, which included parades, reenactments, and even the voyage of replica tall ships along the East Coast. Most bicentennial quarters are made of the standard copper-nickel clad composition, with a copper core sandwiched between nickel layers, weighing 5.67 grams and measuring 24.3 millimeters in diameter, identical in size to modern quarters still in use today. They were produced at 3 different U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, No Mint Mark; Denver, Marked D; and San Francisco, Marked S. The San Francisco Mint produced not only regular clad coins, but also special collector-proof versions, including rarer 40% silver-clad bicentennial quarters, which were sold in commemorative sets alongside bicentennial half dollars and Eisenhower dollars. Due to their massive production, over 1.6 billion pieces minted across all variations, most bicentennial quarters found in circulation today hold only face value, 25 cents, unless in exceptional uncirculated or proof condition, or made from silver, in which case they may be worth anywhere from $2 to $10. While high-grade mint state examples certified by professional grading services can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially if they exhibit rare errors, such as off-center strikes or double dies. Despite their commonality, these coins hold immense historical and sentimental value to collectors and everyday Americans alike, as they represent one of the few times modern U.S. currency broke tradition to celebrate a national milestone. Many people remember receiving them in pocket change during the 1970s and 1980s or saving them as keepsakes from parents or grandparents, which gives the bicentennial quarter a special emotional weight beyond its metal content. While it remains legal tender and fully spendable, most people prefer to hold on to it as a patriotic memento rather than spend it. In numismatic history, the bicentennial quarter marks a turning point, as it was the first circulating U.S. coin to feature a temporary commemorative design, paving the way for later series like the 50 State Quarters Program, 1999 to 2008, America the Beautiful Quarters, 2010 to 2021, and the American Women Quarters Program, 2022, present. Its enduring popularity lies not in rarity, but in representation. It is a tiny piece of American history, carried in pockets, saved in drawers, passed through generations, reminding citizens of the long journey from revolution to modern nationhood. Whether found shining in a protective holder or worn from decades of circulation, the 1776 to 1976 In God We Trust Liberty Drummer Boy quarter stands as one of the most beloved and recognizable U.S. coins ever minted, symbolizing freedom, unity, and national pride in a way no ordinary coin could. Next top. The 1967 United States quarter dollar, commonly referred to as the Washington quarter, is a fascinating coin from a pivotal period in American numismatic history, representing not only a medium of exchange, but also a tangible artifact of economic transition, political legacy, and cultural identity. Bearing the inscriptions Liberty above George Washington's head, In God We Trust to the left of his portrait, and the date 1967 just below his neckline, this coin commemorates the enduring symbolism of America's first president and the nation's unwavering reliance on divine providence. What makes the 1967 quarter particularly significant is that it belongs to the short 3-year range, 1965 to 1967, produced without mint marks, a decision made by the U.S. Mint to deter coin hoarding during a nationwide coin shortage. Prior to 1965, U.S. quarters were minted in 90% silver and 10% copper, but escalating silver prices in the early 1960s led individuals to pull silver coins from circulation, melting them down for profit or saving them in anticipation of further increases. To combat the crisis and preserve circulating currency, the Coinage Act of 1965 officially eliminated silver from dimes and quarters, replacing them with a copper-nickel-clad composition, a pure copper core sandwiched between outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving the coin its familiar silvery appearance, but without intrinsic melt value. Thus, the 1967 quarter contains no silver, weighing approximately 5.67 grams, with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, reeded edge, and standard metallic ring when dropped. Although millions were struck, nearly 2 billion in total, encompassing both circulation strikes and special SMS, special mint set, issues produced for collectors at the San Francisco SA office, the 1967 quarter still holds interest among numismatists due to its transitional context and potential for rare varieties. SMS quarters, often distinguished by sharper strikes and satin-like finishes, can fetch higher values in top-grade encapsulated condition, particularly when graded MS 67 or higher by PCGS or NGC, with prices ranging from $50 to several $100s, depending on appeal. Regular circulation coins, on the other hand, typically retain only face value, 25 cents, unless they are found in exceptional uncirculated or mint state quality, free from scratches and bag marks. Some enthusiasts search for error coins, such as off-center strikes, double dyes, or clad layer peeling, which can raise values substantially, sometimes into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on rarity and severity. From a historical standpoint, the Washington Quarter series began in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, replacing the standing Liberty design. The obverse portrait was sculpted by John Flanagan, while the reverse displayed a majestic eagle with wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows and olive branches, symbolizing both military readiness and peace. While later decades saw numerous reverse designs as part of the 50-state quarters and America the Beautiful programs, the 1967 issue remains part of the classic eagleback era, representing stability before the explosion of collectible designs beginning in 1999. For collectors, the value of a 1967 quarter lies not in precious metal content but in condition, historical interest, and personal nostalgia. Many Americans still recall receiving such coins in change during childhood, unknowingly handling pieces of monetary reform history. Although commonly referred to as Untitled States of America due to worn lettering or accent misunderstandings, the correct inscription is United States of America, arching proudly above the eagle with E pluribus unum, just beneath, a Latin motto meaning, out of many, one, referencing the unity of the states. The phrase, "In God We Trust," first placed on U.S. coins in the mid-19th century during the Civil War, reflects the nation's long-standing spiritual sentiment, officially mandated on all coinage by the Act of 1955. Whether found in a pocket, inherited from a grandparent's stash, or discovered in a jar of old change, the 1967 Washington Quarter continues to circulate both physically and culturally, its value not solely economic but emblematic of a transitional America caught between silver tradition and modern fiat practicality, reminding us that even the most ordinary coin can carry an extraordinary story for those willing to look closely at the symbols etched into its surface. The 1965 United States quarter dollar, widely known as the Washington Quarter, stands as one of the most historically significant coins in modern American currency, not merely for its design bearing the noble profile of George Washington accompanied by the inscriptions Liberty above his head and In God We Trust to the left of his stoic portrait, but also for the monumental monetary shift it represents in U.S. history, marking the first year that quarters were officially struck without any silver content, transitioning from the traditional 90% silver composition to a more economical copper-nickel-clad alloy, a change that forever altered the physical, auditory, and sentimental qualities of American coinage. Before 1965, quarters were minted with intrinsic melt value, appealing not only to everyday spenders but also to investors and opportunists who, during the early 1960s, began hoarding silver coins in unprecedented numbers as silver prices rose dangerously close to the face value of the coins themselves. Fearing a widespread collapse in the availability of circulating change, Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1965, a law that removed silver entirely from dimes and quarters and reduced it in half dollars, replacing the previous alloy with a layered structure, a pure copper core sandwiched between outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel, which provided a silvery appearance while significantly lowering production costs. To discourage coin collecting and prevent additional shortages, The U.S. Mint also suspended the use of mint marks entirely for coins dated 1965, 1966, and 1967, meaning that number 1965 quarter bears a D, Denver, or S, San Francisco, mark. Even though production took place across multiple facilities, every piece simply reads, United States of America, arching across the reverse above a boldly spread eagle clutching arrows and surrounded by olive branches, accompanied by the Latin motto, E pluribus unum, symbolizing unity among diverse states. Despite the modern composition, the 1965 quarter maintained its classic dimensions, 24.3 millimeters in diameter, 1.75 millimeters thick, and weighing 5.67 grams, slightly lighter than its silver predecessor due to the non-precious core. Although the general public at the time may not have immediately recognized the loss of silver by appearance, many noticed that new quarters lacked the distinct ring of silver when dropped on a surface, producing instead a duller, more muted clink, which led some Americans to describe them as feeling cheaper or less noble, while others saw them as an inevitable adaptation to economic reality. Over 1.8 billion 1965 quarters were minted, making them extremely common in circulation even decades later, and as a result, most hold only face value, 25 cents, unless found in exceptionally well-preserved uncirculated condition, especially those graded MS 65 or higher by professional grading services. Some 1965 quarters are mistakenly thought to be rare because people occasionally stumble upon silver planchet transitional errors, extremely scarce pieces accidentally struck on leftover 1964 silver blanks. Such mistakes, if verified by testing weight, silver quarters weigh 6.25 grams, can sell for thousands of dollars, making every old quarter worth checking carefully. Meanwhile, countless collectors and history enthusiasts cherish the 1965 quarter not for monetary gain, but for its symbolism as the bridge between the Silver Age and the modern era of fiat coinage, marking the point where American coins transformed from pieces of precious metal into durable tokens of value dependent entirely on government trust rather than inherent worth. This shift was controversial at the time, with some citizens lamenting the perceived debasement of the nation's currency and claiming the coins no longer reflected the dignity of Washington's legacy, while others embraced the practicality of preserving silver for industry and investment rather than everyday commerce. Regardless of opinion, the 1965 Washington quarter survives today as a relic of economic evolution, a testament to how American society adapts to material scarcity while still clinging proudly to its national mottos. Liberty, a word etched boldly above the father of the nation's head, signifying the freedom for which the United States stands, and in God we trust. A phrase first added to coins during the Civil War and officially mandated for all U.S. currency in the 1950s, reflecting the deeply rooted spiritual sentiment that even as metal and material composition change, divine reliance and patriotic values remain constant. Whether retrieved from a dusty drawer, found in supermarket change, or passed between generations, the 1965 quarter continues to circulate as both currency and memory, a metallic witness to a turning point in American history, reminding us that even the most common coin carries within it a narrative of innovation, necessity, and national identity, making it a